Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me for the club chat and for joining me for the 12 days of Christmas/New Year's. For those that haven't been around so far, I suggest go looking back and listening to the prior episodes. But the whole aim is for me to just read a prompt off my phone and then for us to just dive in and hopefully you guys learn something after having a bit of a chat. Today's prompt has actually come from myself. I actually am not using my phone today for it. But the prompt that I'm using is, what does everyone need to hear going into 2026? And I feel like what everyone needs to hear going into 2026 is reaching your goals is not about doing more. It's actually about doing the right things really well, which usually requires doing less. I think a lot of people get confused with goals meaning more hustle, more grind, and just more doing and work on your plate. But majority of the time to get towards your goals, it's actually getting rid of as much off your plate that doesn't align with that as possible and getting used to saying no. It's okay to say no. So I want to use an example of this in the fact of, so a lot of you guys are busy mums with families and your life can sometimes feel like it gets pretty dictated for you and you don't necessarily get to choose your routines as much and things can just sort of happen. You're just sort of just going through the days as you can, which is understandable. But how can we reframe that in the fact that you've got all this stuff going on? So exercise feels like one more task, but the exercise is actually the thing that fuels you and gives you energy to smash all the other tasks way easier than if you weren't exercising. No, it sounds like a little bit of a contradicting thing when you haven't exercised for a while or you forgot what that feeling's like, but honestly, it's truly life-changing. Exercise gives you energy, it clears your mind, it makes everything way easier, and it is what you need to get through the demanding times and the demanding things in life. So I think if you guys just knew that your goals are behind saying no more, doing less, and doing the things that you are saying yes to and that will get you to your goals, but doing them really well. And having really clear systems and standards in place. You can't get anywhere without systems and standards and keeping those boundaries around those really strong, and having everyone on board. I think let's grab our journal out now or our notepad on our phone. And I want you to brain dump any limiting beliefs that you have around reaching your goals. Let's keep them fitness goals for today, but I just want you to dump anything that you've got around limiting beliefs around your fitness goals. So you might think that requires you to train 5 days a week. You might think it requires you to cut out all the foods you love and not have a life. You might think it means sacrificing time with your kids, and they're going to really be impacted by it. You might think that it means waking up really early and you're not an early morning person. It might mean sacrificing the time that you have at night time for yourself because you have to go to bed earlier. What's all the limiting beliefs that you have around reaching your fitness goals? Dump them down now. I'll give you a second. All right, pause this video if you need a little bit longer. Okay, now that you're reflecting on them, how many of those genuinely feel like really serious and like really they're going to impact your goals? Okay. Now that you've done that, next to those limiting beliefs, I want you to flip it. So what's the opposite to that? So if you got up earlier, what would that feel like if you're a morning person? Or if you're not a morning person, I want you to ask yourself, I want you to pick apart these limiting beliefs. Would you actually have to train in the morning? Your answer might be no, because for example, the club has 50 classes on the schedule and majority of them are at nighttime. So maybe that's a limiting belief that you're telling yourself that you have to train in the morning. Maybe it's, no, I don't need to completely restrict myself because I'm totally fine to get the results I need with the 80-20. I want you to somehow rebuttal what you've just written down. Maybe it's all those jobs I have to get done in a day. If I actually take out time for myself, I actually probably will be way more productive and get those done quicker. So I can spend more time with my kids and it'd be good quality time rather than I'm cleaning and still spending time with them or something like that. All right, I'll give you a little bit longer to rebuttal all of those. Okay, I want you to look at them side by side now. Read them through, go through them thoroughly, really have a think. What life do you want to have? The life that scrolls at nighttime or the life that goes to bed early and wakes up early and makes the most out of their days? So I want you to circle there's no right or wrong answers. This is totally your activity and your thing. I want you to circle what, based on the life you want and what you read, what would you prefer on that piece of paper? Okay. And last little bit, what would have to be true for you to get there and get that life? So maybe it's organizing an early morning babysitter. Maybe it's putting your phone outside your bedroom at nighttime. Maybe it's booking classes consistently. What is every single step to a T that you need to do to reach that life you wanted to live and to reach your goals and your results that you're after? Okay. And then your last final bonus question, when are you going to start implementing these things? And that is a trick question. If you did not write now, then you need to go re-listen to all the podcast episodes that I did earlier around the 12 days of Christmas. Do not wait. Start now. There's no point in waiting. You're going to thank yourself so much. And now you guys have also listen to the podcast about keeping promises to yourself. So if this is really the life you want, the goals you want, the results you want, the only way you're telling me that you really want that is by following that guide that you've just written for yourself. And you'll find on there, it'll probably have more to do with doing less than doing more to reach your goals. Less nighttime snacking, less scrolling, less going out on the weekends, less poor quality time with your kids and more good quality time, less stress. All right, I'm going to leave it at that because hopefully you guys have gotten a lot from that and you're reflecting on your notes right now and you're feeling really super pumped and fired up to just jump straight into 2026, following all these promises you've just written out to yourself. Send me a message. I'd love to see your piece of paper as always, as the rest of the days. Send it through to me. Brainstorm with me. Brain dump with me. I want to hear it. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you on the next one. See you. Love you. Bye.